When you think of music nerds, what music pops to your mind? Death Grips, Aphex Twin, or Bloody Valentine? And if you're going to the more mainstream side, probably Radiohead. But what if I told you there was one artist that defied all music nerd stereotypes? An artist so unapologetically pop that even your K-pop obsessed auntie might make fun of you for listening to them. An artist so unlikely to be popular among music nerds that— you saw the title on the thumbnail, you know who it is. Carly Rae Jepsen, queen of every noun, British Columbian, and of course pop artist. From an outside perspective, it might seem like Jepsen is another washed-up pop star. Had a hit in the early 2010s, accompanied by a similarly successful album, which was then followed by another 80s inspired one, which didn't do bad commercially per se, but compared to Kiss, and especially compared to the chokehold on the human race that Call Me Maybe had, it didn't do that well. And then silence for about 3 years until another album was released, which was then overshadowed by the premiere of the Game of Thrones finale, and now is planning to release an album the same day as Taylor Swift. But despite her lack of stardom in the current era and her god-awful release dates, Carly Rae Jepsen probably holds one of the most dedicated fan bases in all of pop. And you would know how hard that is if you have ever spent any time in pop Twitter. A fan base so dedicated that they have made their own tabletop RPGs, poems, and even their own festivals about her music. And all of those things without having to be pushed by any label, all done by the fans. But these very dedicated fans aren't your normal pop fans. No, they are very different. Smellier, older, whiter, and with more Y chromosomes than most pop fans. Of course, I am talking about music nerds, a group known for its pretentiousness, lack of showers, and their distaste for everything pop. Well, at least in the past. Nowadays, the music nerd movement has become more accepting of more types of music, with them being more fond of trap and of course pop music. Now you see dudes in Death Grip shirts praising artists such as Dua Lipa, Taylor Swift, or Rina Sawayama, which was definitely not the popular opinion in the pre-Cambrian age of pre-2016 internet. But the thing is, Carly Rae Jepsen was already a very liked artist among music nerds before it became cool to like pop. But why is that? Why is Carly Rae Jepsen, an unapologetically pop artist who doesn't steer away from the pop formula, both lyrically and sound-wise, so popular among the music nerd community? Well, I have many theories. Theory number 1, the underdog. Despite making such great music, Carly Rae Jepsen is not really in the spotlight, or anywhere near it, at least anymore. Apart from people who are really into pop music or the aforementioned music nerds, most people haven't heard of her since Call Me Maybe, which, considering how good her post-Kiss music is, it's really a crime. And it's not just me who thinks this, it's a common sentiment among anybody who has listened to Emotion or anything that preceded it, that Carly deserves to be up there with the biggest pop stars in terms of popularity, but she isn't. And I think this image of pop underdog has made a lot of people attracted to Carly's music and made the already existing fans even more dedicated. As people are attracted to underdog stories more because they have a higher sense of connection to them, as they feel that their support is more influential in the success of said underdog than it will be in the success of a massively successful person. It's like shopping from a mid-sized local store in your city, which is not small by any means, but also far away from being big, versus shopping at Walmart. Yeah, it might be true that you deciding to or not to buy an apple in a mid-sized store is not going to make a difference in its success, but it would definitely make a bigger difference than if you bought it at Walmart, which is so huge that even if an entire city decided not to buy anything from them, it wouldn't affect them. So even though Walmart is more successful, people who shop at a mid-sized store have a bigger connection than Walmart shoppers. And for a more Carly Rae Jepsen related example, if you were in a conversation with both a Taylor Swift and a Carly Rae Jepsen fan, who would recommend the music of their beloved artist first? The Swiftie or the Jepsener? Well, obviously the Jepsener, as the Swiftie already assumes that you know of Taylor Swift and her new music due to how popular she is, while the Jepsener probably thinks that you don't know anything about Carly's music after Call Me Maybe, So they don't see this as a conversation, but instead a battle, where the objective is not to kill an enemy, or to capture a point, but instead to convert them into the CRJ cults. Theory number 2, nerds just wanna have fun. In the past couple of years, pop stars have been trying to distance themselves away from the cutesy teenage girl type aesthetics that were once associated with pop, with a lot of them adapting edgier personas and distancing away from old pop frivolous, which have brought us some great music and also some not so great music. And a big reason why this pop shift has been happening is due to pop losing its number 1 place as the genre of the youth, with it being awarded to rap, which is not bad, nothing wrong with rap music, but what is terrible was the influx of pop stars trying to fit in the hip hop wave by adapting a lot of their sounds and aesthetics of trap in order to seem hip and cool. And that doesn't only apply to the great trapification of 2017, but can also be seen in the 2020s with the new wave of TikTok pop stars whose whole gimmick is just singing a lullaby for 2-year-olds, but changing some of the words for fuck, shit, and if they're feeling extra rebellious that day, maybe even a bitch. Everything dark, every lyric about depression, and every lullaby ruined. Sometimes people just want those old pop stars back, and Carly Rae Jepsen brings exactly that. Her music doesn't incorporate other genres, nor does it change to fit modern trends. This ironically makes her music age better, as those trends are someday going to die out. And in this modern internet age, someday is 6 months from now. For example, Taylor's Reputation, which came out a year later than Carly's Emotion. Now, it is undeniable that Reputation sold way more and is thousands of times more commercially successful than Emotion. But in the year 2022, which one is talked about more? And I don't mean which one gets googled more or which one gets more streams. I mean, which of these albums is still creating discussions? More specifically, positive discussions. I'm going to give you a hint. It's the one without Ed Sheeran and Future. Theory number 3. Music nerds Ryan Gosling. The unapologetically poppiness of Carly's music has made many music nerds pretend to like or exaggerate how much they like Carly's music due to its ironic value, because it's something you wouldn't expect a music nerd to like. Oh dude, look at my Topster, I have Death Grips, Machine Girl, Radiohead, and also Carly Rae Jepsen. Isn't that unexpected and goofy for my guy like me? Wait, why are you leaving? I haven't even shown you my Soviet movie collection yet. Carly Rae Jepsen for music nerds, it's what Ryan Gosling is for straight dudes. It's definitely a little unexpected for you as a straight man to like, but not enough for it to be considered gay. But I honestly think this group of people who like Carly Rae Jepsen ironically is a very, very, very small portion of her music nerd fan base. I honestly think most people just like her because her music is good. Theory number 4. Maybe her music is just good. I know this is going to sound crazy, but maybe people like Carly Rae Jepsen because her music is good. This may sound like a cheap cop-out to the video, as it says something that everybody already knows, while also undermining the whole point of the video. Why make a video about why music nerds like Carly Rae Jepsen if you're just gonna say, oh, it's because her music is good? And yeah, I do think the main reason why Carly Rae Jepsen has such a dedicated fan base is because her music is good, but that doesn't mean the other theories are not true. I do believe the underdog status of Carly Rae Jepsen has made her fan base more dedicated. I do believe that her being so unapologetically pop in a landscape where most pop stars want to make everything but pop has contributed to her success, and that said poppiness has made people like her for ironic purposes. But at the end of the day, it's the music that makes people say. You could start listening to Carly Rae Jepsen ironically, or because you hear a friend say how underrated she is, but it's the quality of the music that makes you keep listening and become a fan. It's what makes people who listen to stuff like this listen to her. It's what drives people to make role-playing games, to organize fan concerts, and to write and edit 9th grade level essays about why the use of Death Grip shirts like her music.